What is up, brothers? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a quick Olaf item guide where you are going to be learning exactly what to build in every single situation. Now pay close attention as this guide is proved to boost your LP by 39.4%. With that being said, let's begin. Good. Now, I want to clarify something because I want to explain in a way where you guys can understand and think for yourself. Stridebreaker is an item that Olaf players often build because it just shows to recommend you and on like Google and whatever when you search up like Olaf builds. This item absolutely sucks, like objectively speaking. Why? It's gonna make a lot of sense in a second, but the reason why is because Olaf, he scales only with AD. Yes, he has some scaling on his W and HP, but that's not real. So his only scaling is on AD, and he scales with a lot of AD. E is like 50% of your total AD is like true damage, then your Q is like 100% bonus AD, and your ult, it gives AD based on how much AD you already have, like total AD, which is crazy. It's like a lot of scaling here, 25%. So building an item that for 3,300 gold it gives 40 AD, which is basically 4 longswords that we can get in Raven's Hydra's like path, like build path, is just underwhelming. And the HP and attack speed, they also suck on Olaf scaling wise. That is why you never want to build Stridebreaker. Now, even the move speed that you get from Stridebreaker is not really all that good, because when you pop it, see that? It's decaying move speed. After a second, the move speed that you get, I think, is already at half. Yeah, the move speed that you get is like already at half after like 1 second. So it's generally not that great of an item on Olaf specifically. Now, all of Olaf builds are gonna be consisting of Ravenous Hydra. And I'm gonna be putting all of the builds that we're gonna be talking about today on screen, and afterwards we're gonna be taking each one at a time and talk about it. Alright, let's go. Now the first build, which is gonna be basically the standard crit build, is gonna be Ravenous Hydra into Death Dance, followed by Fiendhunter Bolts, Mortar Reminder, and then finish off with Shield Bow or Infinity Edge. Right? One of these two items is gonna be what we end with. And we choose between Shield Bow, we basically build it if they don't have anti-shield, and if they have some type of execute. Shield Bow is better. Infinity Edge is expensive, so we're gonna be building it when we have a very huge lead or the game is very long. Make sense? Perfect. We're gonna be talking about the boots options later into this video. But yeah, for this build, Ravenous Hydra and Death Dance, they synergize well, because Death Dance, the more damage you take, the better it is. In a sense of like, check this out, like 30% of damage taken is dealt with over 3 seconds. That means if you don't have resistances and you get bursted, you are gonna be storing, let's say, 700 damage. When you kill your target, when you kill like a target, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't need to be the target that hit you to begin with. Okay? You cleanse, ignore pain. If you have a 700 pool of damage that it's supposed to damage you, and you kill somebody, it will reset that completely. That is pretty much why crit works. Not only that, but lifesteal from Raven's Hydra and from your passive, you work really well with damage itself, with crit. So let's say we're like low HP, with crit, we actually heal more than we would heal with Bruiser. As you can see, the crits, they heal you more. And this is AoE, so if you heal multiple targets, you get even more healing. Now, Fiendhunter Bolt also synergizes well with Death Dance. Why? Fiendhunter Bolt, it gives 3 guaranteed crits, which, based on the fact that Olaf has a lot of AD, as you can see, 505, it works really well here. But Fiendhunter Bolt is an item that basically guarantees you get a kill. Whenever you like dive on somebody, let's say this is like a squishier target, let's make it like a tiny bit squishier, 80 armor. Let's say this is an AD carry, yes? Jump on him, auto W, auto E, Ravens. You see that? A quick combo, we instantly kill somebody. This is a Death Dance reset that we get. Perfect. So we already start with the Death Dance reset. Now, Mortar Reminder is a cheap item, and later into the game, people usually like have higher armor based on their champions alone. The base armor of Olaf at level 18 is 106. So already like Mortar Reminder is relatively high value. Shield Bow is the same thing. It's a cheap item that just scales well. Good. Now for our next build, and I actually want to go in base first and delete these 2 items. These 3 items, I mean. is Experimental Hexblade. The Experimental Hexblade crit build. And pretty much this build, I've experimented with it like earlier. Like I've played maybe like 15 games with this build. And I've been only taking it into a lot of range comps. Recently, a lot of people have started playing like J-Stop, with Nartop, Cannon, a lot of range champions, like in enemy team. Cannon on AD carry, or like Syndra on AD carry, Zerat mid lane. Whenever you see like 4 range champions, you're gonna be wanting to build Experimental Hexblade as your second item. And for a very long time, because of the lack of AD and the lack of scaling that Experimental Hexblade provides, I've been a hater of this item. And I still think that it's not that great of an item on Olaf. It's still better than like Stridebreaker. But this item is just not that great into a lot of like melee champions, right? We are building Experimental Hexblade solely because of the move speed. The attack speed and AD and HP, those are quite irrelevant. The fact that we get that move speed is really nice, as we can basically catch up people that play Storm Raider Surge plus range champions. Keep that in mind, that's the biggest issue. People have been playing Victor with Storm Raider Surge. People have been playing like Hui with Storm Raider Surge. These champions, you can normally catch them. Without Experimental Hexblade bonus move speed, you cannot catch them. Not only that, but nowadays, I sometimes play with like Ignite. So, you know, the lack of Ghost, it feels bad later into the game. That is why I've been starting running Experimental Hexblade. And we're going to be talking about runes and summer spells in another guide. But yeah. Now, for this build, afterwards, like after this Experimental Hexblade build, I don't recommend you go Fiend Hunter Bolts. Why? First of all, the ultimate ability haste doesn't stack well together. 45 seconds ult, we deleted 55. Actually, it's a bit better than I expected, but it's not that huge. Like it's actually a bit better than I expected. But anyway, I think if you take some like ability haste, it's like not that great anymore. Like let's say 50, 42. Yeah, if you take some ability haste from like Dev Dance or whatever, it doesn't synergize that well together anymore. Anyway, forget about that. We're gonna be going into Mortal Reminder or LDR, and I'm gonna be talking about LDR in a separate part of the video. But anyway, we're gonna be taking like Mortal Reminder here, and then we are gonna go Fiend Hunter Bolts or Death Dance, but ideally Fiend Hunter Bolts, so we can reach this 50% threshold, like 50% crit threshold. Good. Then we can take Death Dance, and this is how the build looks like most of the time. Like I said, this build, we're going to be mostly taking it into range champions, a lot of them. I don't recommend you take this build into melee champs. And you can see that 620 move speed for a few seconds when you run at them initially, really good. Actually faster than Ghost. So that alone is quite nice, and it does allow you to like kill a target really quick and then move to the next. I think you can kill about 3 targets before you die. Like if they're all ranged, you can move from target to target. Like let's say... let's scatter them around a bit, okay? Let's scatter them like this. Okay? We Q this target, we run at him, we do auto E, we pick up our X, we run to this guy, boom, 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 we go to this guy. That I mean, in 8 seconds we have time to kill like at least 2 people, maybe 3 if we're like if we have like Ghost as well. But this is the build against range champs. Now, when we look at Bruiser items, we don't have that many good options. The good options for Bruiser items will be Death Dance and Overall's Bloodmail. These are the only Bruiser items which I personally approve and that I generally think they're good. Now, HP is not good on Olaf, don't get me wrong, but Overall's Bloodmail is not built for HP. It's basically built for the AD it provides. It gives 12% AD based on your missing HP. Huge synergy with Olaf ult. Even with no HP items, the passive alone gives 60 AD, 15 AD from Tyranny, and then 30 AD from the item alone. If we do the quick math, this is 105 AD from one item at level 18. And this is without full build. This is just 3 items. Now, if we go ahead and we build the following items, we go Experimental Hexblade before this item. It's going to be Raven's Hydra, Death Dance, Experimental Hexblade, Overall's Bloodmail, and then generally speaking, Thunder Sky. Sterak, I don't recommend it. It's 879 shield with 3 HP items. Really underwhelming. Thunder Sky is a lot better. You can even do LDR as your last item. This is also viable. And this build in particular is, like I said, is basically the only viable Bruiser build. There isn't really any like situation where you truly would want this, other than, let's say you already have like a super fed backline and you just want to survive for them. You can even finish up with an item like where is it? You can even finish up with an item like Randuin Omen. This is viable. Randuin Omen is viable for Olaf as your last item, or even fourth item sometimes, but usually your last item if they have like 3 crit champions. So this build would only potentially be better into something like a Tryndamere top, Yasuo mid lane, Tristana AD carry, and then maybe jungle Briar that build crit. Okay? In that hypothetical situation, maybe this build is better because it actually makes you quite tanky. And I miss my Q. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, there isn't a lot to be said. This is how the Bruiser build looks like. Now we finished off with the builds. You guys already know what to build. But there are some small things that you need to keep in mind and small changes that you can make within your builds. One of which will be the following. The following change. Pretty much we can choose, like I said, in like the experimental hexplay build, we want to go experimental hexplay second into a lot of range champions. And if you're fighting like a Jace top lane, let's say, it is viable, especially if you're ahead. But the thing is, we don't need to just do like experimental hexplay or like dev dance. We also have another option, which is going to be LDR. Okay, LDR second is a super underrated option. I'm gonna be explaining in which matchups and why it's so underrated. Pretty much, we're gonna be going this build, like this variation, let's say, of the crit build against K'Sante, Sion, Ornn, all of these tank champs. LDR shreds them super, super hard. So this alone, like the 15% bonus damage against champions with like 1.5k bonus HP is already crazy good because it works on your E as well. Look at this, 1761, bam, 1818. Already like what, 60-70 damage, somewhere around there. So this super strong power spike. Doesn't matter if you're ahead or behind, you are gonna be killing tanks 1v1 guaranteed, I promise you. Now, for our next item in this variation, we are going to go into Fiend Hunter Bolts for the 50% crit chance, which is gonna be allowing us to burst tanks. Then we finish off with Death Dance, and then we have the options to like go the normal crit build basically. So we can do like Shield Bow or Infinity Edge, and that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for this variation. If you are fighting a triple topside, a triple like AP topside, we have another option which is going to be Mo second. This item, I don't think it's that great of an item. It gives little MR, the BTS is quite useless, and the shield can feel underwhelming sometimes. Now, the thing is, Mo has good synergy with Olaf because it provides more shield when you press your ult. And not only that, but it gives Omnivep. Like I said, this item, I would usually take it second if they have a heavy triple AP topside. By topside, I mean Gwen top lane with an Elise jungle and a Hui mid lane. That's like a strong AP topside. We can avoid fighting the enemy AD carry for a long time as the top laner. That is why we can just do MR and we can basically side lane against their mid laner or top laner, and you know, we're gonna be strong into their jungler, top laner, and mid laner. Now, that is the only situation where I'm gonna be going Mo. Otherwise, the item is quite bad at the moment. That's it. And I have to say that is basically it. We have one more option which isn't the greatest, but it's viable, which is Fiend Hunter Bolt second, which is decent into melee champions for snowballing specifically. Now, This build gets the power spike when you finish Cloak of Agility. When we finish like Raven's Hydra, Fin Thunderbolts, and Cloak of Agility, if we are fighting a lot of melee champs, like the same target, 3000 HP, let's give it even more armor, so you guys don't say I'm cheating. We run at him, and if we find a few crits with true damage, anyway, we didn't find the crits with true damage, but as you can see, the damage feels really good even at 2 items. And let's compare it with no crit death dance, okay? Like, death dance is more expensive, keep in mind. Death dance is more expensive than Fin Hunter bolts plus Cloak of Agility. Good. So this is Fin Hunter damage. You see? There is less burst in here. There is probably more damage long term, if you get what I'm saying, because it also makes you tankier, but there is less burst and less snowballing. Not only that, but Fin Hunter bolts, it gives a lot of move speed. So yeah, we're basically going to go Fin Hunter bolts into some crit item. Usually it's gonna be shield bow. This build, I'm gonna be going... Sometimes you're gonna be seeing me build it into like Fiora, or like Camille sometimes, you know. It's sometimes viable into Camille because she does like true damage. There aren't really many items that work well into that. So yeah, into true damage, this is somewhat viable. Maybe even into Gwen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this build also works a bit better when you are behind. If you are behind, you can basically like start getting picks with Fin Hunter bolts, even though you are like behind. But yeah, to finish off the guide, we have the boots. And I want to start with the bad boots, which are Mercury Threads, Berserker Greaves, and Swiftness. You know, Sorcerer Shoes, these are the best boots. So obviously you like want to buy them every game, but they're kind of unfair. So I don't recommend you buy them every game. Oh, I can keep this thing here. What? I didn't even know. Anyway. Now, the non-viable boots options are Berserker Greaves, Mercury Threads, and Swiftness boots. These are the boots that you don't want to build. We'll take them each at a time, but I'll try to go over them quick. Berserker Greaves, the attack speed doesn't really help Olaf in the early game. There isn't really a point where you can build them to actually benefit you in any sort of way, and they're also 1100 gold. So they're relatively expensive for what they provide, and there isn't any moment when you need them. Early game, you don't need attack speed. You have your W, and you simply just don't benefit of attack speed in the early game. Later into a game, when you benefit of attack speed, you build Fin Hunter bolts, which gives 95% attack speed. Your W is 80%, and your passive is 100%. You really don't have any point in the game where you can build them. Mercury Threads, I don't think I need to explain. Tenacity doesn't work well on Olaf. They're expensive, and the MR is underwhelming. Swiftness boots, they're similar. These are like the best out of the worst boots, if that makes sense. Like these, you could rush them, but then you delay your item spike to have a lot of move speed from your boots. So not recommended. Now, we're gonna start in order with the boots based on like which one I prefer. Glutinous Greaves, these are really good into a lot of melee champs, and if you are already having a lead. If you are behind, I don't really recommend them. If you are even, they're okay-ish. But generally speaking, you're going to be building them into a lot of melee champs and when you're ahead. Now we are left with Ionian boots and Plated Steel Caps. Ionian boots are my go-to boots, but I do think Plated Steel Caps are generally better. Why? Because Plated Steel Caps are the only boots that sort of make you tankier for a pretty cheap price. So if they have about 3+ auto attackers, say like Fiora top lane, then we have a mid laner like Yasuo, and then Tristana bot lane. Or maybe they have a Zinzao jungle. Something like that. 3+ melee champs, you go plated. Now, Ionian boots are the best snowballing boots, and they're also good when you're behind. Or even. Generally speaking, they're the best boots, in my honest opinion. Why? Summoner Spell Haste and 900 gold. Summoner Spell Haste, it makes your TP shorter cooldown. I'm not sure if you guys knew that. So you get 3 summoner spells with shorter cooldown. Generally speaking, top laners are the best at building Ionian. Just based on that simple fact. Now, Olaf, because he doesn't benefit of Mercury Threads, because he can't get CC'd anyway, you want shorter like CDR on your Ignite, Flash, Ghost, whatever summer spells you use. It makes like your Flash lower CD. You take off 30 seconds. That means you can do more plays. More plays equals more gold equals more LPs. So yeah, these are the options for the boots. And yeah, that's about it. I want to just go real quick over some options of things that you can consider, but like I just don't think they were worth mentioning in the serious guide. So this is like basically if you guys had questions. Let's begin with the support section. I'm not joking, by the way. I'm taking this seriously. Knight's Vow could be a decent option if we would play a more supportive build. Let's say we are super behind in a game. Super behind. We have like barely any gold. We can buy Knight's Vow and put it on our like let's say we have a Jinx AD carry or a jungler like Diego or whatever. We can put Knight's Vow on them and that will buff them heavily in teamfights. Why? Knight's Vow, the way it works is it reduces 14% of the damage the ally that you put it on receives. What does that mean? That means, and like I want to mention one thing before that, but like Knight's Vow, it reduces the damage before resistances. Let's do a quick math. Let's say somebody takes 1,000 damage. Before they take 1,000 damage, they will take 140 less damage from your Knight's Vow, and then they're gonna take 860 damage that is gonna be basically mitigated by some of their armor, if that makes sense. So Knight's Vow is a relatively viable option if you're giga behind and you have a carry. Good. Now, if we look at Bruiser items, there are some Bruiser items that seem somewhat viable, but they aren't. Black Cleaver, for example, Black Cleaver in the current version is not really that viable because your E is true damage, so it doesn't really contribute, so it's only like your Q and auto attacks. So a champion like Olaf, he simply like takes too long to like proc it, so he doesn't really help his teammates or anything. Now, Endless Hunger, on paper it seems decent because Olaf has a lot of AD. It would be like this, we do ult, 73 ability haste. If we get one more item, we can reach even more. Let's say we can reach like 82. A lot of ability haste. Not many champs can get that much. But hear me out. Ability haste is simply not that great on Olaf. Your W, if you press it twice in a fight, which is, by the way, it's not even like that possible. It's not really possible to press W twice in a fight with Olaf. But if you do, it stops your auto tech reset. So if, in case you didn't know, if you do auto W, it's an auto reset. But if you have already pressed W, it's not an auto reset anymore. Or? Oh, they changed it. Okay, my bad. Forget about it. Back in the days, it used to be like that. But either way, ability haste is not that great on Olaf. Simply put. Because like your Q, it doesn't benefit of ability haste. And your E, while it does seem like it benefits of ability haste, it actually doesn't. Why? Because your E, the more attack speed you get, the less cooldown it is on its own, basically. So, to finish off quickly, Endless Hunger is just not that good synergy. Like I explained earlier, by the way, Mo, not that great test of an option either. It's only if they have a lot of MR, like 3, 4, 5 champs with MR. You know, I'm looking at like 4 or 5 champs with MR. Terra Gauge as well is an option I see a lot of beginner Olaf players build. It's an item that isn't an option. That's what I wanted to say. Why? If we build like... Let's build only HP items, okay? This is only HP. With potion included. 1900 shield. And we have 0 armor, 0 healing, only HP. That seems super underwhelming. And this is the best scenario, but this is not even possible. A realistic build would look something like this. 1300 shield. Even this is not realistic. You'd have boots. 1000 shield. It's not that much in the grand scheme of things. The AD is nice from Storage Gauge, but then you have the tenacity as well, which sucks. And yeah, that's about it for the guide, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I made this guide completely free. Initially, I thought of making like members only, but I thought that's a bit unfair as I wanted to share with you guys my thoughts and what I've discovered. And yeah. I really hope you guys are gonna all be climbing as high as possible, as I'm gonna be doing the same. And if you wanna see more of Olaf, you wanna learn the champion and all of that, Feel free to follow, join the Discord, and I'll be seeing you guys on the next video. Take care.